Defense lobbies don't need to knock on doors. They're already inside. Former Pentagon officials become corporate executives. Senators become board members. Generals become consultants. This revolving door ensures that no matter who wins an election, the real winners are always the same: the contractors. Enter NATO's 5% pledge, a gift-wrapped fortune for US arms makers. By 2035, member states must pump 5% of GDP into defense. But buried in the fine print is the kicker. 3.5% goes directly to military capability, code for weapons and gear, much of it made in the USA. That means fighter jets, missile systems, drones, cyber tools, and armored vehicles, all products offered by American defense titans. The US isn't just a member of NATO, it's the store. Trump, Biden, and every US official have pressured Europe to buy American. Trump said it out loud, Biden said it quietly, but the result is the same. NATO's military modernization is being outsourced to American factories, with European taxpayers footing the bill. And that remaining 1.5%, it's for defense-related infrastructure. That sounds civil, but it includes ports, highways, and cyber grids, all things that can be used to move troops or launch operations. Construction firms, tech giants, and logistics companies, many with defense ties, are circling this pot of gold. This isn't just about more tanks. It's about transforming entire economies into appendages of a war machine. Schools and hospitals might suffer, but arms factories and military logistics hubs will thrive. And once locked into this pipeline, few nations will find a way out. Trump never pretended to hide it. At NATO summits and pressers, he bragged about the incredible Patriot missile systems, how effective, how in demand, how scarce. When Ukraine begged for more Patriots, Trump promised to see what we can do, all the while spotlighting the US as the only source.
BBC News Ukrainian.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine.
Oh,
so my question to you is whether or not the US is ready to sell anti-air missile systems, Patriot, to Ukraine. We know that Russia has been pounding Ukraine really heavily right now.
Are you living yourself now in Ukraine?
My husband is there.
Wow.
And
I can see you're very, it's amazing.
And me with the kids, I'm in Warsaw actually, because he wanted me to be.
Is your husband a soldier? No?
He is.
He's there now?
Yeah.
Wow. That's rough stuff, right? That's tough. And you're living here?
In Warsaw.
And you're a reporter?
I am.
Good. So let me just tell you, they do want to have the missiles, okay, as they call them, the Patriots. And we're going to see if we can make some available, They're very hard to get. We need them too. We were supplying them to Israel. And they're very effective, 100% effective. Hard to believe how effective. And they do want that more than any other thing, as you probably know. That's a very good question. And I wish you a lot of luck. I mean, I can see it's very upsetting to you.
It wasn't just about helping Kyiv. It was about selling the Patriots. 7 more batteries, Zelensky said, and they might survive Russia's barrage. Trump made sure the world knew the US made the best. To allies, he said, buy American. To manufacturers, he said, you're welcome. His approach was transactional, unapologetic, and brutally effective. Diplomacy became marketing. Foreign visits became product launches. Ukraine's war became a business opportunity. Biden, on the other hand, played diplomat. But look at the receipts. Under his presidency, Ukraine received HIMARS rocket systems, Patriot and NASAMS interceptors, long-range artillery, Abrams tanks, and even training for F-16 fighter pilots. Biden didn't just authorize arms transfers, he expedited them. He used drawdown authority, coordinated global coalitions, and secured bipartisan support to keep the conveyor belt of weapons moving. His defense packages were battlefield-tailored, but every shipment was also a sales pitch. Every missile fired was a billboard for American firepower. Biden's emphasis on coalition building disguised the fact that the US still dominated the military supply chain. Every allied shipment echoed US strategic goals: Every bullet bore the mark of the American defense industry. Obama talked about peace. He even won the Nobel Peace Prize. But under his administration, the US sold more arms than ever before, over $169 billion through the Foreign Military Sales Program. Drones, fighter jets, missiles, precision-guided munitions, and even small arms were sold across the globe, from Saudi Arabia to Israel to Asia. Even as Obama pushed for non-proliferation treaties and drone oversight, his government exported UAVs and modernized the nuclear arsenal. He talked disarmament and signed deals, but delivered firepower at record sale. He signed the Arms Trade Treaty, but left landmine bans untouched. He criticized foreign wars, but enabled proxy conflicts. And every sale made his promises of peace ring hollower. Let's be clear. The arms business is not a sideshow in American politics. It's the engine. Half of America's discretionary federal budget goes to the military. That's hundreds of billions of dollars every year, much of it flowing into the coffers of companies that donate to both parties and hire retired generals and ex-politicians onto their boards. When Biden approves a tank transfer, when Trump flaunts the Patriot, or when Obama signs off on drone sales, they aren't acting in a vacuum. They're working within a system designed to equate weapons with prosperity, bombs with diplomacy, and war with jobs. And it's not just about sales abroad. Every dollar sent to Ukraine, every F-16 pledged, creates domestic political capital. Look at all the jobs we're supporting in Ohio, Alabama, or Texas. The factories hum, the lobbyists smile, and the war machines roll on. These weapons aren't just tools of conflict. They are icons of influence. Each Patriot battery in Poland, each HIMARS unit in Ukraine is a silent tribute to the US industrial military alliance. Every contract awarded is a political statement wrapped in steel and explosives. Even NATO's expansion isn't just about countering Russia. It's about expanding markets for US arms. New members mean new customers. 5% of GDP per country adds up, especially when the shopping list is made in America. But here's the fallout. Every dollar funneled to weapons is a dollar cut from somewhere else. Social services, healthcare, education, climate action. These all shrink in the shadow of the Pentagon. The opportunity cost is staggering. Critics warn that NATO's 5% pledge could gut public spending across Europe. For nations already struggling to meet 2%, this new benchmark may force austerity on civilians while armies grow richer and deadlier.
Yeah, so they're committing to 5% of GDP on defense spending, and that's going to get broken down into 3.5% of what's called core defense spending, which is, troops and weapons, and 1.5% of what is termed defense-related spending. Now, that could be anything, and that's where a lot of the detail lies in what you define as defense-related. The other thing we know is that the deadlines for meeting these commitments, in some cases, quite vague. So we're talking about years going through 2030, 2035. So essentially, it's something that they will be meeting over the next decade. Well, I think first of all, we have to take a bit of a reality check here. And the reality is that the vast majority of European countries simply can't afford this. They have debt mountains already at around 80% of GDP. In the case of Britain, it's about 100% of GDP. One notable exception is Germany, which after years of fiscal frugality has got pretty solid public finances. But for the rest of them, this is going to squeeze their public finances in such a way that is politically untenable. We're talking about either very hefty tax hikes or cuts to spending that will be extremely unpopular with their voters. And remember that a lot of these governments are facing threats from the far right and other populist parties. So these are in many ways cuts that are simply politically not doable. The final point is perhaps, if you want this, but I mean, It's the leeway. So basically there's scope for creative accounting here as well. So what you define as defense related. So for example, in France, there's a discussion as to whether you can include gendarmes, the policemen that you see on country lanes in France, whether or not they can be included in military expenditure, believe it or not. In the hierarchy, they actually report into the defense ministry, but their budget at the moment is outside defense spending. Now, if you were to bring in items like that into what you count towards defense spending, obviously you're making that target a lot easier. And I suspect we're going to see quite a lot of discussion about that type of imaginative accounting over coming months.